My name is Janice Burrows, and I work for the LDC Benefit Funds, and I'm going to give you a brief overview on preparing for retirement, what you need to know and do. Okay? Now, you do have a copy of the slides. If you just want to review them, I'm just going to go over some basic steps with you. Okay? This section gives a brief description on qualifying for benefits. If you need further information, you can refer to our SPD, our SPD, which is the summary plan description. You can call the fund and we can mail one directly to you, which will give you a little more detailed information on qualifying for benefits. Okay? Now, at age 65, with 3 years of service, effective May 2009, which is a normal retirement, if you retire as an active participant at age 65, you will receive a full benefit with no deduction for your age. 25 or more years of service. If you have 25 or more years of service, you can retire at any age with a full benefit. So you will receive no deduction regardless of your age with 25 years or more of service. Age 55. If you receive a reduced early benefit if you retire between the ages of 55 and 62. Okay, of course, you have to be vested of 3 years. Vesting used to be 5 years. Okay, it dropped effective May 2009 to 3 years. Now it only takes you 3 years to vest towards your pension to receive a benefit. If you're applying for a disability, Social Security, or disability benefit, you can apply for a disability benefit with our fund. Okay? However, in order to be approved for disability, you must have 15 good years of service, and you have to qualify for disability benefit through the Social Security Administration. Okay? They will give you a disability award certificate. So with that award certificate, regardless, now when you first apply for pension, enclosed in the application is a disability application. So if you retire because you're the age of 55, which is an early retirement, but you're applying for disability, don't let that hold you back. You still can apply for early retirement, but if you complete that disability application, and on that application you state that you are applying for disability benefit, we will pay your benefits retroactively. Okay, so if you hear from the Social Security office in 2 months, 3 months, or a year, and we pull your application, you contact the fund once you approve, and we pull your application and see that you applied and completed the disability application, we will change your benefit to a disability payment and pay you, increase your benefit and pay it retroactively from the month that you apply for benefits. If you are 62 years of age and you have 15 years or more of service, that's a full benefit without a deduction. 62 with 15 years of service. Now, how can I apply for retirement? Okay, when you apply for a retirement, we're going to process your pension as well as your annuity. It's going to be processed together. You have the option to receive a monthly pension as well as an annuity, depending on what option you elect. You can also decide that you don't want to withdraw your annuity and keep it in, let it remain in a fund, and you still will receive a monthly pension payment until you decide to withdraw your annuity. However, we can only hold your annuity up until the age of 70 and a half. Now, if you want to apply, call us. Ask for the pension department, we'll mail you an application, or you can come into the office and apply. Now, if you do come into the office, I'll go over the information of the documentations that's needed when you come into the office to speed up your application. Also, if you have performed covered work and the laborers, okay, which basically means if you work outside of our jurisdiction, maybe in New Jersey, maybe in Delaware, if you worked outside our jurisdiction, you may be entitled to a partial benefit, okay, through another pension office that's reciprocated with our fund. So what you would want to do, now just say for instance, okay, you're trying to retire with maybe 25 years without a penalty. So, and you have a portion of your time with our fund and a portion of your time with another fund. What we do, okay, we add the time, we put it together, but we pay you separately. So if you have 25 between both funds, we'll pay you for the portion that you have with our fund, and the reciprocal local will pay you for the portion that they have with their fund. But you definitely want to make sure you complete that information on the application so we can contact the local to request the years of service that you have with them, because this could affect your pension payment. okay, and amount the years of service that you may have. Now, applying for retirement, when should you retire? When should you apply? You should apply 90 days prior to wanting to receive your first monthly payment, okay? So if there's any, problems that you may have, or if you're still working. Now, if you're still working, sometimes all the hours aren't submitted. So that can be, it can hold off your application sometimes, or we may go ahead and process your application within the 90 days. And then once the additional hours come in, we could increase your benefit. And then you could either, if you didn't take out your annuity, you'll get the additional money that was paid into the fund, okay? Or you can, if we owe you any additional benefits, then we'll pay that portion to you if you already withdrew your annuity, okay? Now, pension payments are paid retroactively, which basically means if you apply for pension in June, your effective date will be July 1st, okay? We're not going to pay you, remember, 60 to 90 days. So if your effective date is July 1st, and we don't pay you till September. So because you applied in June, is effective the month after you apply, we will pay you for July, August, and the month of September. Okay. Now, applying for retirement benefits, when requesting an application, or if you come into the office to apply, please be sure to bring all documents that's required, which will be stated on the application. If you are married, we will require proof of your age, as well as proof of your spouse's age, copies of your Social Security cards, and your marriage license. Okay? Copies are acceptable if you're doing it by mail. If you come into the office, you can bring the originals and we will make copies and release them back to you immediately. Okay? Now, certified divorce decree. If you are legally divorced, please supply us with a full copy of your decree. Sometimes people just take the top portion off and submit that. And they say there's additional attachments. We need the complete attachments, because sometimes when you're getting a divorce, you may have stipulations in your decree that your wife is entitled to your pension or your annuity. We will not pay those benefits until we get a full copy, so there won't be any problems and then someone comes sue the fund. So just make sure you supply a full, complete copy. Other than that, that will delay the processing of your application. Now, again, I have the Disability Award Certificate. If you are applying for disability Social Security, please provide us with a copy of the award certificate once you are approved from the Social Security Administration Office. We definitely need a copy. If you ever receive workman's compensation for being injured on a job, you do receive credit for the workman's comp. You receive up to 500 hours and 1,000 hours towards vesting. So just say, for instance, if you were on workman's comp for a long period of time and was out of work, and then you reach the age, I can't do it anymore, I want to go back, I want to retire. So if you have 10 years, okay, or we gave you workman's comp credit for 10 years, that 10 years may only be 5 years when it comes to payout, or may only be 3 years, because we're going to give you a year each year for workman's comp, but only 500 hours for benefit, for payment. All right, reciprocal. We went over that. That's a partial benefit. If you worked outside the jurisdiction. Now remember, if you ever worked outside the jurisdiction, it's important that you notate and complete that portion on the application so we can contact the reciprocal local, just in case, so it won't affect your benefits, your monthly payment, or your years of service when we calculate your benefit. Okay, if there are any discrepancies with my work summary statement, a participant may be eligible for additional credit of service for one of the following reasons. Military service. If you were in the military, we give you credit, but not just because you was in the military. We give you credit if it affects your work. If you were working and you were either drafted or you decide I want to go help September 11th, you want to go and signed up for the military and it affects you, you left, then you came right back to employment, you will get up to 500 hours credit. You do have to supply a copy of your discharge paper in order for us to give you credit, but we definitely will give you credit for it. Okay? Total disability in which you receive weekly accidents and sickness benefits through the Health and Welfare Fund. Now that you would just notate on the application, but we will retrieve that information from the Health and Welfare Department on your behalf. Okay. Discrepancies. Now sometimes you look at your vesting statement, you may have some discrepancies with the time that you work. If you have any discrepancies, maybe your employer may went out of business and the hours wasn't contribute, but you were in the local, in the union at that time, we will give you credit, but you may have to show your pay stubs, your W-2, or you can fill out a Social Security form with our office where we will obtain information pertaining to your work history depending on what year you state. So if you say, okay, I work 1987 to 1997 and I only see 5 and I work 10 years consistently, then we will just send for the time where you have less than 1,000 hours that year. If it shows that you work for that contractor and that contractor was covered under employment with us, we will give you credit for that time, so you will not lose any credit for that time. Who shall I call if I have any questions about my claim? Of course, you call the pension department. Okay, the number is located on this form, so you can either contact us by mail. The address is on here. You can come directly into the department if you want to fill out. But remember, if you come into the department and you want to fill out the application, bring the documents with you. However, if you don't have all the documents, don't let this delay you in applying for pension. Just bring in what you have. Then we will, once the application is set up for processing, we will send you a reminder of what is needed. Okay, so you can just go ahead and process it, and then maybe within the 90-day period you'll have all required documents in, and we can go ahead and release your processing. It may be a little delay in that if we're waiting on you. However, still don't let that hold you up on applying. Okay. Now, can you help reduce delays in processing by submitting your application with all required documents? Absolutely. Okay, you can help. It's not going to be more than 90 days, but at least it won't be over 90 days, okay? And we can complete it in a timely manner. Now, how do I know my pension claim was processed? Once your application is processed, I, Ms. Burrows, will contact you by either mail or phone. If I do, it may be for an appointment. I may just mail your elections directly to you. They're called the election of benefits. With these election of benefits, it will give you a breakdown on what your monthly benefit will be and what the options you have and what we offer to you. Okay, now we do offer a single life benefit, which is a lifetime benefit payable to you for life. However, your beneficiary is only covered for the first 5 years that you go on pension. So just say, for instance, you go on pension and you receive benefits for 8 years. We do offer a lump sum death benefit of $5,000 if you have retired with 15 years or more of service. Okay, so if you elect to take a single life benefit, and a single life benefit is offered to you if you are married or if you're not married. If you're not married, you're automatically only entitled to a single life. Now, again, with that single life, your beneficiary is only covered up to the first 5 years that you go on pension. But you have to have at least 15 years or more of service in order to qualify for that. Okay? 50%, we also offer, if you're married, we offer a 50% joint survivor. We offer a 75% joint survivor, and we do offer a 100% joint survivor. Now, if we offer you a joint survivor benefit, it is a mandatory form of payment if you do not wish to receive a joint survivor option. It's mandatory that we offer you a 50% joint survivor. If your spouse does not, or if you and your spouse decide not to take the 50%, your spouse has to sign a notarized consent form, a consent form that has to be notarized. So that form has to be signed by your spouse. Okay, if you elect anything other than a 50%, which is a mandatory option that we offer you. So if anything other than 50% is elected, a spouse has to sign a consent form, and it has to be notarized, or she can come into the office, sign that form, and she has to provide identification so we can verify that it is your spouse. Now, if you apply for pension and your wife signs off, or if you get a divorce, I wouldn't apply for pension. I wouldn't recommend for you to apply for pension until after your divorce goes through. Yeah, because she's covered. If you apply and you're legally married, we're going to ask you to provide that information. If she doesn't sign off, we will not pay you, or we'll pay you the mandatory 50% joint survivor election. If you elect the joint survivor option, God forbid something happens to you and your spouse is entitled to 50, 75, or 100, she will receive that portion for the remainder of her life as well. Yeah, you were penalized before, but not anymore. You can retire with 25 years or more of service. If you retire with 25 up to 30, you can retire. Well, you could retire from 25 or more. So you can work until, if you want to work for 40 years, you have the option to do that. Okay, but we pay you up to 30 years. But you can retire at 25 with no penalty for your age, and you will receive full benefit. Okay, workman's comp, you're going to have to provide proof showing when you received workman's comp. So we're going to need your injury date, and we're going to need the ending date. Or a payment. If you have a pay stub on your stub, it'll show your injury date. Most of the time it has your injury date on there, and then it has your most current date. So you can use a stub as well. So if you have any questions and I didn't answer anything and I didn't go over everything with you today, please feel free to give me a call at any time. If it's regarding health and welfare, I can help you the best way I can. If I can't, I will direct you to the appropriate person. Thank you guys for attending our presentation, and you enjoy the rest of your day.